Hey, Sean Makim, Yahoo Basham Yahushua Basham Kwakadash Brahmanasha DC Camp. We're another short lesson to the Father Hope for Elect. So this is a quick video. I just wanted Akim to be aware of around this. Also need to say double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Group and Stone Rule well. Alright. So you just have to understand the way Israel society works. Okay, when it comes to their rulership. Okay, ever since the Lord Yahweh Shai granted them the opportunity to rule over the earth, all right, and He put it in their mind to govern all the aspects, that comes with the daily life, the daily operations of people's lives, and that's one thing Esau has mastered. All right, he's able to narrow things down to the nitty gritty, so he could prolong his rulership, but he doesn't understand Lord Yahweh Shema Shah already set his bounds, or already set to him an appointed time to rule. Okay, so here's Israelite woman. I believe her name is Trisha Rose. All right, she's one of those Israelites that specializes in sociology. She studies the issues that concerns race, racism, oppression, and all that stuff. Demographics, and all that good stuff. All right, so you could watch our videos. They have a better understanding of how Esau's able to stay in power. Okay, and the reason why he's able to amass so much wealth. All right, so I just wanted you to have a good idea of who the lady is, whose works I'm just been keeping up with. And then this is a talk she gave some time ago. So I'm gonna shrink the screen and would pull up some images she shared with the audience. All right, and here's one. All right, it just shows you how Esau society has been organized. To put Jake in a quagmire. All right. So you see, this is just one of them. So let me just start quickly from. All right. So right here, so you have an issue of wealth, that's control of finances and all that. Okay. Savings and loans and investment opportunities. Then you have the issue of housing, real estate, then media, portrayal of products and services, advertising, spreading of information. Then you have education, where it comes to, developing your minds, getting new ideas, innovation and all that stuff. And then it comes to criminal justice. All right. So you have Esau's system, the codes and the books are written in such a way that it has to be enforced upon the poor. All right. That's why you have states like New York, that had an issue with the stop and frisk. It's not just New York; it's all over the whole nation. Okay, and all over the United States. Then you have the whole idea of policing for profits. Police departments doing the same thing. All right. You also have sheriff departments doing the same thing. The so-called your local permitting office. Always want to make sure people have proper permits for this, proper permits for that. All this zoning violation, your zoning office. So it's all about generating fees. And they make things difficult for Jake. When you watch those old documentaries on how Jake used to live back then in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, and then look at it in the 70s, all the way into the 80s, you see how much difficulty you know Jake had to endure. And it's all by design. you know Things like this don't happen in a vacuum. Now when you see Jake's in any of these top positions in any of these sectors, they basically put as a front, as shields, so-called gatekeepers, and that's what these top jakes have become. So it's been a it's been a struggle, man, for Jake, man. Jake is always gonna be at the bottom in society until the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai lifts Jake up, all right? And then you keep moving on. So when you look at all those gears, it's like a well-oiled machine. They all work together in conjunction. You know, and who owns this machine? It's Esau, the elites. All right, so Amalekites, man. They have their, they have the operatives in all this. You know, and whoever wants to change how the machine operates, you know, they're gonna be crushed. And that's what Esau's always about. He wants to protect his system. All right, so you have a system of gears, they all working together. You know, to make sure that everything generates the product that they're supposed to generate. They all go in the same direction. You know, and that's how Esau is, man. He understands what he needs to do to maintain his rulership. But the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai had already sworn by himself that he's going to cut it short. All right, and then you go and look into the, one gear at a time. So this is the gear for housing. All right, that was a gear for housing. You see housing right there. There's a gear for wealth. Each whatever was it what you call spoke or whatever or teeth, they represent something. And when you look at the one for housing, that's it. That's what happens, man. So real estate, you know, all the legislation, you hear about discrimination for the GI Bill. You have gentrification, you have urban renewal, you have blockbusting, what is so-called Edomites like to use, tactics to make property value go down in some Edomites neighborhoods. They could scoop it up for cheap, and then they sell it at a profit. All right, and that's how messed up these Edomites are. They understand how to exploit the fears, the ignorance of their own people by using Jake as puppets. All right, and then you have the issue of segregation. It makes life difficult, more expensive. All right, then you have the Fair Housing Act and all that stuff. You have subprime loans. You have the issue of staring. All right, you want to go rent, buy a spot. You go to your so-called realtor, and then it tells you, oh well, you want to live in a place that you know that's much more conducive. Meaning, he's already pre-selected the place for you in mind. You just go to a business, they want to sell you on something that you don't really have anything in mind for, but for the sake of it, you're like, what, I'm not going to argue with this dude, man. Just get the stuff and get the hell out of here, man. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to make a scene, because you understand that you have to go through all this, and you also know that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bless you at the end. Once you stay with his doctrine of righteousness. Right, and then you have the restrictive covenants. Either might say, oh well, you know, it's not agreement. We're not going to sell to any Jakes. We're not going to sell to no Arabs. We're not going to sell to no Latinos. Right, no Native Americans. Only white. White only. That's how you see these things happen. Okay, and it's not a lie. You just gotta look into the history and see exactly what Esau has done. So I'm gonna read some precepts. It's gonna be from the book of Exodus chapter 1 verse 13. Okay, and then it says, you know what? I'm going to start from verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters, all right, taskmasters, to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Okay, But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And that's one thing you have to see, when you look at all this, you look at all this, all this madness. This is Frankenstein machine. That's why he's so able to keep his wealth. Wherever he goes around the world, he has to make sure he sets his agenda, his philosophy to make the people accept it. And then he just go in there with his machines, with his so-called propaganda to dominate, and that's what it boils down to. All right. So this is Revelation, like Exodus chapter 1 verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor. All right, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, and that's what Esau has done. All right, he would like to deny it day in, day out, but he can't because the evidence is right there. Okay, we didn't make this up. They got the documents. You got you got the paperwork. You have the testimony of these Edomites. You got evidence, proper evidence. Okay, you see all the issue of violence. Back then, you see how Jake was treated, even till this day. So you have to pay attention, man. This is not a joke. Your history, according to those holy scriptures, is not a joke. You have to understand the value of your your origins, all right, your inheritance, and what the Lord Yahweh Shai has prophesied to reward His servants. Okay, so I'm going to read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm going to read verses 44 and verses 48. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 44, it says, "He shall," some of verse 43, "the stranger that is within thee, he shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low." And that's a separation right there. Okay, because scripture talks about the Lord Yahweh Shai decides who's going to set up and who's going to be brought low. Okay, then 44 says, "He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." And that's the gear. All right, Esau owns this system. All right, this is what Esau was able to inherit: rulership of the face of the earth, to dominate and make life difficult for Israelites. Okay, and then verse 48 says, "Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." Alright, this is how Esau is able to destroy our people. He persecutes you so bad that you can't get no wealth, you can't get no education, you can't get no housing, you can't get no proper information, to move on. And then, you just fall into his pit, which is the criminal justice system. Fines and fines and fines. You have folks in jail because they can't afford a fine. So they can't afford to pay the fine. Alright, they can't afford to be bonded out for just simple so-called petty crimes that Esau invented. Alright. And that's how, you understand that Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Alright, you don't have time to be arguing back and forth with Esau. You just tell him what the deal is according to the scriptures, and that's about it. And then I'm going to get one more precept. Actually, no, I'm going to get one from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Alright, so the kingdom of heaven is not going to be structured like Esau's system, man, which is based upon wickedness. Alright, so Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31 says, "Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways." All right. So just like Esau has done to us, he's gonna get double. All right. But we will not do things the way Esau has done, man. We're not gonna make life impossible to live for the heathen. We gotta give them, the commandments, the way things has to be done based on what the Lord Shema Shai has ordered, to be administered. And that's the way things are supposed to be. All right, it's supposed to bring peace and balance to the earth, not destruction and misery, for people's lifetime. That's the rulership of Esau. But for the rulership of the Israelites, that is coming into, we're not going to follow anything that Esau has put. We're not going to copy from him. Okay, we're going to establish things the right way. We're going to bring things back to the way the Lord Shema Shai has ordained. All right, and then the final precept I'm going to bring is going to be from the book of Daniel. Daniel chapter 7. I'm going to read from verse 24 to verse 26. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. That's America, okay? And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints. All right, this has wearing out the saints. Jake getting caught in these gears, man. Jake getting all stressed out and bugged out and upset, you know, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And that's what it boils down to. All right, the struggle for dominion. And that's what Genesis, the story of Jacob and Esau. All right, it's all about the struggle for dominion. Okay, the struggle for that birthright to rule over the face of the earth, the whole earth, in fact, the universe. All right. So that's just the point there, Akim. Hope you've been edified. There's so much more I'd like to go into, but I just want to keep it brief. Just be aware that when you see oppression, don't marvel at the matter like the scripture talks about it, because the Lord thereby Shema Shai understand what's going on, and that He's the only one that can fix it. All right, Shalom.